What's going on, Beat family? I got an exciting video for you today. Man, I am pumped up. I'm here with my friend and brother, JT Tappias, Coach JT Tappias. And for some of you, you all have been noticing that Brother Allen has gone through an extreme transformation over the past year or so, where I've been blessed to be able to lose 35 pounds in a little bit over 90 days. And I did a previous video on this, but I wanted to come back and share with you the secret, like the real deal in terms of how I was able to accomplish this, because I know many of you out there, you've been on a journey where you're trying to get back into shape, or maybe you've just had a child and you're like trying to lose that baby weight. You're trying to get back to the way you used to be. And, or maybe you just had a surgery or something like that. And you're like, hey, I need to get back. Or maybe you just look at yourself in the mirror like I did. And you're like, man, I can do better, right? I'm not going to submit to this dad bod too early or whatever it is. Hey guys, this video is specifically for you because I'm going to share with you a little bit about my journey. We're going to get some helpful tips from Coach JT Tappias, who's a professional health and fitness, a Christian nutrition coach. And he is the reason why I am here today, having lost the weight and different mindset. He's going to give you some mindset shifts. As well as, guys, we're going to lay a biblical foundation for why it is so important that Christians take this seriously and that we are in the best shape of our lives. And then finally, guys, and what you're probably here for is I'm going to give you some real practical tips, right, on what you need to do practically, step by step, so that you can lose weight and, more importantly, be in the best physical and mental shape of your life. So, Coach JT, bro, thank you, man, for being here, man. I love you, man. And this guy is literally the reason why I was able to experience transformation. Thanks, brother.
Brother, thank you for having me. It's amazing to be here, and just commending you for your discipline and follow through. And I remember when we first chatted that one time, I just saw that desire in your eye to change. You had done many different things. Some had worked, but then you had gained the weight back. And you had all these theories, like most people that I work with, right, on nutrition and what works and what doesn't. And so we got into it, and you got the results. So just super excited for your journey.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks, man. So yeah, so speaking of my journey, I'm just gonna give you guys just a brief synopsis, guys, of kind of where I'm at. So, guys, I have never actually been overweight. I was one of those people that was blessed with a great metabolism, as many of you are probably as well. And so I always, as far as I can remember, I had really horrible eating habits. All right. So I'm just going to break them down to you guys so that you don't think that, hey, Brother Allen is doing a little bit better than you guys. So before I got on his program and before I actually started taking my health and nutrition seriously in terms of my fitness and diet, for the first 46 years of my life, I was eating horribly. I'm talking about like eating pizza a couple times a week. And when I say pizza, I'm talking about a whole pizza, not a couple slices. I'm talking about a whole 12-inch pizza with a whole bunch of cheese, a whole bunch of sauce, bacon, you name it, pepperoni, ground beef, everything was on it, right? I'm talking about barbecue, lasagna, all the stuff. Yeah, carbs, bread, lemonade from Chick-fil-A, sweet tea, Skittles, a peach cobbler, M&M's, candy. I mean, bro, Bluebell ice cream. Sometimes I would literally, guys, I would order food at like 9 o'clock at night because I've been working all day, hadn't worked out, was hungry. I would get to go on the app DoorDash. I would order some food and it would get there. It'd be like a huge lasagna or something like that. And then I would reward myself because I was working hard all day, because you know how that goes. Yep. I deserve this. So then for dessert, I would get like 2 scoops or a whole bowl of like Bluebell ice cream, and I would eat that and sit in front of the TV and I would go to sleep, guys. And I got to a point where I got to 225 pounds and I looked at myself in the mirror and I said, I can do better. I can do better. I don't like how I feel. My clothes were fitting tighter. I didn't have as much energy. I was just getting tired a lot. And I knew that I needed to do something drastic to change my situation before I turned into having what we call that dad bod, right? It's like you look good with your clothes on, but then the clothes come off and stuff is hanging out pants ain't fitting well. And so guys, the most important thing, I'm going to give you some tips later, but the most important tip is that I got accountability. I got on a program that works and it was sustainable for me, which we'll talk about a little bit later, why I love this program. But guys, I got on this program and in 90 days, I was able to get to 35 pounds off in the best shape of my life. And most importantly, I had the right mindset in terms of how I viewed my body, nutrition, my health, and food, which was an idol for me.
Yeah. So a lot of the things you mentioned, I think are important. What's important to point out, because most people think of weight loss in terms of the physical aspect, right? What I'm seeing in the mirror. But there are different changes that are happening when you're losing weight. So one of the things I often see is that people believe that what they eat today, right, may affect them 2 or 3 days on the scale, but what they're not realizing is that they're actually developing an addiction and a dependency to those particular foods. So when you start talking about Skittles and pizza and all this stuff that spikes a ton of insulin, guess what? Anything that spikes insulin secretes dopamine. Anything that secretes dopamine becomes addicting. So this is why people go into this perpetual cycle of never being able to stay on any diet, because they're addicted. They have dependencies, very similar to alcohol, drugs, cigarettes. It's the same exact thing. It actually fires off on the same dopamine receptors. And so most people don't realize that. They say, I have a weight issue. I say, we have a dependency issue.
A mindset.
And so,
issue.
and of course it affects your mindset, right? And so when you start to lose weight and the scale starts to go down, a lot of incredible things that on the surface that you can't see actually start to happen. One of those is your cognitive health gets way better, right? So your retention, your ability to actually focus, your ability to actually think clear, which is huge, right? Especially for us believers, we're reading the word, we're trying to soak it in. And if your mind is cluttered with all this toxicity that's going on in your body, it's hard. It's hard to sit. It's hard to focus. It's hard to retain anything. You can't retain anything. I mean, what are we doing studying, right? We're wasting a lot of time, right? And so I guess what I'm saying here is it's not just the scale, which most people obsess about. It's all the things that are happening in the background that most people don't realize are so incredibly powerful. And it's aesthetic health. You look a different way, but then you also feel a different way. You act in different ways. You make better choices. You get to bed earlier. You're breathing from your diaphragm because now you're not hunched over by the weight that you're carrying. You're actually opening up your diaphragm, which is bringing more oxygen into your brain. And I can go on and on and on and on.
Yeah, exactly. So guys, speaking of that, lest you think that this is just a physical thing and the Bible doesn't have anything to say about this, the Bible has a lot to say. All right. And I'm just going to throw a few scriptures out to you. First of all, 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verses 24 through 27. Paul says, I discipline my body like an athlete, right? Now, obviously, he's talking about, self-control and essentially discipline, right? And so, guys, at the end of the day, that is the most important thing that has helped me and many others get results is discipline, right? What does discipline mean? It means doing the things that you don't really feel like doing and then not doing the things that you do want to do. That's always how I define discipline every single time. Doing the things that I don't want to do, right? Going to sleep early, taking walks, different things like that, which we'll talk about some practical tips in just a moment. That's the next thing we're going to chat about. But not doing the things that I do want to do, like going over and, putting like a whole, a pound of a whole slab of barbecue ribs and a whole bunch of mac and cheese on my plate with some peach cobbler and all that stuff like twice a week, right? It's discipline. And the great thing about this, guys, man, I can tell you, if you can get control over, you know how James talks about if you can control your tongue, you control your whole body? I'm saying if you can control what you eat, you'll see those disciplines spill over into every other area of your life. Since I was able to make this transformation in my life, every other area of my life has become more disciplined. My Bible study, my time with God, my time management skills, how I manage my ministry, every other aspect, because now I have this stronghold. That's why I have this shirt on. It says strongholds broken. And that's why this brother has a shirt, Temple of the Holy Spirit on, right? Because it's about discipline. So 1 Corinthians 9, Galatians 5:22 through 24, it talks about the fruit of the Spirit, love, joy, peace, patience, those kinds. The one that we often forget is self-control, guys, right? Like self-control is a fruit of the Spirit, the ability to say no, to deny yourself, your flesh, your stomach, right, of what it is that you want. And so self-control is another one. So yeah, let's shift over and let's give you guys some practical tips. All right. Like what are some things that you'll learn? What are some things that I did practically in order to get results? And when I say results, talking about that freedom that you mentioned, because guys, I've been on this program for, I've been off this program for a year, and I enjoy food. I enjoy food the way it was intended, right? I still have, a little cake every so often, but so that's the freedom, right? And we'll talk about the 80-20 rule in just a moment. But I'll tell you some practical things, and I'll let JT kind of chime in. But one of the things that is huge on his program is something that he talks about. It's called slow burn cardio. And we don't need to go into all the specifics of kind of what happens with your body and all that. We won't bore you with all that. But guys, one of the habits that has changed my life in so many areas is getting up in the morning about 4 or 5 days a week and taking an hour walk. I know you're like, whoa, an hour, that's a long time. Yes, 1 hour. All right. But here's the beautiful thing, y'all. Look, JT taught me this. The best way to create a habit is attach it to another habit that you're already doing, right? And so look, what I do in the morning is the first thing I do, I get up, I go for a walk, I listen to my daily audio Bible. So I'm having my devotional time with God. I'm connecting with God in nature, and I'm listening to worship music the last 30 minutes of that. So I'm worshiping God, getting my mind ready for the day. And by the time I get back from my walk, not only have I shed some calories, I've gotten my body in physical condition, my spirit is right, I've had my worship, I feel connected with God, and that has literally burned some fat and helped me lose that weight. So that's a huge one. You want to add to some tips?
Yeah. So these are some things that I'm sitting in my pastoral leadership class in seminary, and the pastor starts talking about, how the Christian life is lived out, right? And so he goes into all these Greek words, right? And he uses the word ortho, which we talked about yesterday. And then I'm always creating parallels, right? And so he said, orthodoxy, the reading the Bible, the interpreting the Bible in the correct way, right? This is the thought process. And he says orthopraxy, which is from the right type of thinking, you get the right type of practice, right? And from the right practice, we get orthopathy, which is the word that means the emotions. So I'm listening to him speak about theology, and my mind is going towards the nutrition aspect, because this is something we talk about. And so practically speaking, what we're saying here is that the right way to think about food produces the right practice, right? The right practice, which then allows you to control the emotions that bombard us at times, where we tend to mitigate emotions with food. So we think about it a way, we put it into practice, and then we can manage emotions. So that's kind of the mindset aspect. The practical aspects, and what you were mentioning with slow burn is the best kept secret when it comes to decreasing body fat percentages and losing weight. Now, here's what's interesting about this. And I've asked everyone out there in their particular realm, whether it's an engineer or a doctor, there are certain components that seem like they wouldn't do much of anything because they seem so just basic, right? Walking is one of those, right? Walking, people ask me all the time, is it better than working out? 100%. Is it better than swimming, running, biking? Yes, 100%. Walking has this amazing capacity to help you, not just physically, but it actually gives you a cardiovascular base more so than actually running. So I took this concept from a gentleman his name is Stu Middleman. Stu Middleman in his 60s managed to actually do he ran from San Francisco to New York, 30 miles each day in his 60s without any injuries and breaking records. How did he do it? He prepared through slow burn cardio. For his first 60 days of training, all he did was walk. And the walk, guys, is simply a walk that if you don't have a heart rate monitor, you just want to make sure that you're not out of breath and you can hold a conversation. That is literally the pace that you want to go at. I get a lot of pushback with slow burn, right? Because I tell a lot of my people, hey, for the first 90 days, can we dial your nutrition in and do slow burn and not work out? And, we had a lot of conversations around that.
I wanted to lift some weights.
Yeah. Because everyone thinks like, if I want to get in shape, I have to go to the gym. Well, I mean, if you go to a conventional gym, you realize that that's not true, right? You look around and a lot of the people there that have been, going to the gym for 2-3 years, they look exactly the same.
Yep.
Because the number one component is nutrition. The number two component is cardio. And then we can go into rest and hydration and all those other things. But the two pillars are those. So it's walking at a brisk pace where you can maintain a conversation. It helps your cognitive processes. I love going out and praying and walking. I call it my prayer walks. That's my time to pray. I usually, if I have something going on, someone that I'm praying for, I will, that's the first intention before I leave is I'm praying about this thing, or I have a decision to make and I'm praying about it throughout the process. And it has become one of the most powerful physically and spiritually disciplines that I have. And it clears your mind. It helps you think better. You're a peaceful person when you come back from those walks.
Yeah.
And then the byproduct is the physical aspect of it. You're going to decrease body fat and lose unwanted weight like better than any other activity out there.
Yeah. Obviously, guys. So another thing that I did when I was on the program is I know this is going to be hard for many, and trust me, if I can do this, you can do this. I had to completely cut out sugar, not forever, but for a period of time. All the sugar, because that's where the fat happens, y'all.
Yeah.
You got to get rid of the sugar. The sugar. All right. You got to get rid of it.
Yeah.
All right. Because I'm telling you, you will never lose the weight that you want. It doesn't matter if you exercise. As a matter of fact, the old saying, you can't outwork a bad diet. You can be in the gym and I see people and they're exercising and they boast about it. Oh, I exercise 6 times a week and I can't seem to lose weight. This is not to make anybody feel bad, but it's probably related to your diet and your nutrition and your sugar. And that was my problem. I used to think that, okay, you know what? Since I did work out 4 times this week, that means I can pig out because I earned it. I deserve it and it'll offset. No, you can't. Listen, just to give you some numbers, if I exercise and do a crazy workout, I might burn 800 calories. And that's a crazy workout. If I go eat a pizza and have some lemonade with that pizza and some dessert, guys, that's like 2,400 calories.
Yeah.
There's no way you're going to burn that off in one day. So you can't do that. You have to have a calorie deficit. So another thing, guys, drinking water. I don't have my,
it's right over there.
Yeah, it's over there. So I drink a gallon of water a day. On a bad day, I might drink 3/4 of a gallon of water a day. So guys, don't drink your calories away. Right? If you're only going to have a certain number of calories a day, don't waste that and drink it because you're drinking all these calories. And that's just empty calories. Empty calories are like calories that you're taking into your body, but they have no nutritional value whatsoever. It's one thing to eat a steak that's got like 700 calories, but that's got some protein. It's got some macronutrients in there. It's got some, what I'm saying? But like if you drink a lot of wine or drink a lot of alcohol, you're racking up the calories and there's no nutritional value. It's called empty calories, right? That's no good for you. So cutting all that, drinking out, drink some sugar, or not drink some sugar, drink some water. A couple other things, guys, that I did is I chose to do intermittent fasting. That wasn't something that was required, but I was eating my meals between 12 p.m. and 6 p.m. And basically, guys, what this program taught me was don't just eat because you are conditioned to eat at that time. And most people in the world, what they do is they say, okay, it's 9 a.m. I should eat because why? It's breakfast time, but you're not really hungry. So what you're doing is you're eating, but you're not allowing your body to dictate when you should eat. For me, I've been doing this for a year, intermittent fasting. When I wake up in the morning, I'm not hungry because I had a good, solid, healthy meal the night before. So if I eat it like 6 or 7 the night before, I can go until 12 p.m. Now, I know everybody struggles with it. I can go till 12 p.m. the next day easily now because I've trained and disciplined my body to be able to fast for 18 hours or so. All right. So intermittent fasting is another one. And I'll give you one more that I did. And that's I would eat my largest meal of the day for lunch. Once again, a mindset. We think you shouldn't have a big ribeye steak or big steak for lunch because that's for dinner. No. Why? Who says? I would eat my biggest meal at lunch. And I would probably have a salad or something like that for dinner. That way I'm working and burning. My body's working, burning off some things throughout the day as I'm going about. Now, yesterday we talked a little bit about like your house and like cues and stuff like that, and like setting up your house and to make sure that
yeah. We basically interpret the world through our senses. So auditory, right? Olfactory, kinesthetic, touch, visual. And, so this is how we perceive the world. The interesting thing is that 80% of the things that are appealing to us are not auditory, olfactory, or kinesthetic. They're visual. 80%. You've heard of the saying that communication is, 90% nonverbal. That's because people are watching you, right? More so than hearing you. And so to that, I say that what you see is what you do, right? What you see is what you do. And so the idea is to make the things you want to do very visible, and the things you don't want to do, you want to make very invisible. So I have made certain commitments to my lifestyle, and that entails me having very powerful visual cues in my house that remind me consistently of the things that I want to do. So for example, I have an indoor gym, right? Now, not everyone has to do this exact thing, right? I have an indoor gym, which is where my studio is, my office. And I have a rig on the wall. I have dumbbells. I have Olympic bars. I have plates. And so I have it there, and I'm always looking at that when I'm working. And I'm always reminded, hey, at some point today, you should probably get a workout in, right? That's if I didn't start the day with a workout, which usually happens at 4 a.m. for me. But sometimes life is busy. I have 2 little ones. And so I start the day without the workout, but I'm constantly being reminded by that equipment. Then I walk out, and the first thing I do is I always leave my running sneakers by the door, or my walking sneakers by the door. So I put those out so that when I see them, I'm reminded I should go for a walk. I should go for a run. I should do some type of cardio. Those sneakers are specific for that.
Visual cue.
Yeah, exactly. I don't wear them for anything else because that's my visual cue. So I put them by the door. Then I walk in, I make a right. I have my kitchen there. I open my fridge. I have all my meals prepped in Tupperwares. I do that. I take out 60 to 90 minutes a week where I meal prep. My wife is great. She enjoys the kitchen. So she helps me. She knows all the empty your bucket principles. All my meals are ready. I don't have anything in the fridge that's tempting. I do have on Sundays my cheat meal, which is I love ice cream, right? See, I am a real person.
I love how you put that cheat meal, not chill, cheat day.
Cheat day, right? So, Haagen-Dazs and I, we have a good relationship on Sundays. And so I have it there, but I don't buy it until Saturday night.
Right.
Guess why? Because even though I'm disciplined, if I get the wrong visual cue and I get tempted, it's Thursday and I'm stressed, guess what? It's going to disappear.
Right.
Right. So I don't tempt myself like that because I know myself. Right. So that doesn't come into the fridge until Saturday night. So that's my fridge. I walk out. I have an outdoor gym where it's a company that actually does a combination of swings and slides for my kids. But then at the same time, it has a rig so I could work out. It's turf. I have a ladder there where I do a lot of my cardio movements. So I walk out, I see that. I have the dumbbells on the side. Now, here's what's also interesting outside of the visual cues. I've made a pretty significant financial investment in these things. So there is a pressure because when you pay attention.
Yes.
Right? Which then speaks about accountability and the power of accountability. Now, we met through accountability. I needed accountability from you. I came on one of your courses, right?
Yeah.
And so, so even though I hold people to those standards, I hold myself to those standards. I knew that I needed for that particular thing that you were teaching me, the accountability. The knowledge was out there everywhere. Right. You could get it anywhere, but I needed the sequential, direction. And then someone that every week I had to talk to and say, hey, did you do X, Y, Z?
Right.
Hey, and that is the power of what we do.
Yeah.
We do a lot of great things inside of our program, but we practice something called hyper accountability, which is unmatched in the nutrition coaching space. And that is every other day we're talking to people. People, wow, isn't that overkill? 90 days of talking to your coach on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. Well, for 23 years, we've worked out all the different accountability tools, and we understand that that's what works, because every other day, tactfully, I'm nudging people going, hey, did you do your cardio? Hey, did you eat your meals? Hey, did you meal prep? Hey, do you have any questions, any concerns? And that works incredibly, incredibly well. And what we're doing is we're holding people's hand, but at the same time, we're giving them a blueprint because we want them to become independent, right? So this is not just meal plans. Like most canned nutrition programs have meal plans, right? They give you 10 meals and that's what you can eat. But the problem is that sequesters you to that particular plan. Whereas we give you the guidelines and we say, hey, here are the guidelines to the game. Now you go and play it. Come back and check with me to make sure everything is good. We do that for 90 days. By 90 days, you know exactly what to do.
Yeah, guys. So, I mean, honestly, we could give you a ton more tips, but we're going to kind of wrap this up. And basically, guys, my best tip is I hired a coach, guys. I'll be honest with you. I hired a coach that helped me get the results and the accountability. Because like you said, the knowledge is out there. And for many of you watching this, you have the knowledge and you've tried these diets. You've tried these type of fad diets and things like that. And for whatever reason, it hasn't worked. And I can tell you, after being off of the program for a year, that it works. It's sustainable. I enjoy food. My weight is the way it needs to be because of the habits that I learned to develop in this particular program. So guys, all I can say is if you want to get results and you're at a place where you want to be a better steward of your body and your temple, this one temple that God has given us to steward, I highly recommend, guys, every single person, and he won't say this, but every single person I've sent to his program has dropped at least 25 to 30 pounds. All of them. My wife included. She's not on here. She was going to come on here, but my wife has been on his program. She's dropped the weight. My cousin and her husband, they've dropped the weight. Friends that I've recommended, they've dropped the weight. So I just want to encourage you guys. We're going to put some links below to the Empty Your Bucket plan, how you can get in touch with Coach JT and hopefully get these results that you have been looking for finally in your life. And you can hopefully have the testimony to say, wow, a year from now, I saw Brother Allen's video. I invested in, guys, it is an investment. All right. It's not free. It's an investment. But like you said, people who pay attention. And really, if you're investing in your marriage because you want your marriage to survive, you invest in your business. If you invest in your clothing, if you invest in your hair and all whatever it is, how much more important is it for us to invest in our bodies to make sure that we are taking the best care of ourselves? So JT, just tell us your website, how they can get in touch with you. We're going to put a link in the description below. Okay. Will probably be the best way for people to kind of get in touch with you. Absolutely. Yeah, definitely take a look at the links in the description. Here's what I would say. This is a lot of times we hear these things and it can feel a little overwhelming. And the question generally is, I know because I hear it all the time, can I truly do this? And we have made it so easy to follow the program, right? We've made it as easy as it gets. There is a period where we need to do the work, but if you do the work well, if you're ready in your heart of hearts and you're coachable, this will radically transform your physical life and consequently all other aspects of your life. I truly believe that how the cheesy saying, how you do anything is how you do everything. Man, this has impacted my Bible study. This has impacted my life in general, how I view food. It went from being an aesthetic thing to a stewardship. I pray when I'm tempted. I get tempted. I've been doing this forever. I get tempted to eat certain things at certain times. It's a great time to go back into prayer and say, Lord, I can't do this on my own. If there's something in there that is nudging me because I'm stressed or have anxiety, Lord, you're the only one that can fill me. And it's interesting how that hunger, that craving just dissipates. And it's just been an incredible, testimony for me, and seeing people on the other side, being transformed is incredible. We have the book as well, right? Yeah. So the Empty Your Bucket Nutrition Plan book. We can add some links to them. Absolutely. And just a great way to kind of see what we're all about. And if you're ready in your heart of hearts, like my brother Allen here,
and
Journey of a lifetime.
and his wife and many other people have come through. It's been incredible, and I was so excited for him because and I commend you for the discipline and the follow through because he's a busy guy.
Yeah.
You could have had all the excuses in the world. I can't do this.
Yeah.
I have kids, I have a family, I have a ministry.
Yeah.
But you got it done. So I commend you, brother.
Yeah, guys, 225 pounds to 190 pounds for me, healthy, no surgeries, no pills, no nothing. Not that I'm putting down or shaming or against any of those things, whatever. But guys, all natural, sustainable health plan, and we're gonna link it below. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us for all this time. Coach JT Tapias, Empty Your Bucket Plan, and we're going to connect you guys, and hopefully you guys can get some results. And if you do, man, shoot me a message, shoot me an email, tag me on Instagram, tag him. And guys, hyper accountability 4 times a week. A coach is checking in with you. You won't find another program around that's going to be that intentional. So God bless everybody. And thank you so much for this time. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.